Slade, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I'm so excited to be here and get my brain checked out. He's been wanting me to do this forever.
I'm more excited than she is.
Well, with a better brain always comes a better marriage.
Yes.
That's right.
See? He's
See,
on
and
to something.
I've always known she's smarter than me. This is just perfect.
Thank you for doing this with us. I know it's hard. A lot of people, you know, they feel shame if they see a psychiatrist.
Well, thanks for having me.
How'd you hear about us?
So, this was interesting. So I had COVID at the beginning of the year, and it was the hardest thing I've ever been through health-wise. Trying to come out of that, I was really depressed. I was like in a dark place. Like, it was just a really strange time for me. And then I lost my smell and my taste. And so I posted on my social media and I said, hey, does anybody know how to get your smell and taste back? Or like, do you guys have these same symptoms of this brain fog? And not only did I have 10 of my personal friends reach out and send me your video, but then because I have a lot of followers, I had millions of people sending me your videos. And I had no idea you were even here in my own backyard. And I was so excited because then that's when I sent you guys a message, said, I'm fascinated by what you're doing. And then that's how this came together. So I'm so excited that I finally got to meet you.
Well, I'm excited to meet you as well. Your brain's not been working as well as it did before you got COVID. So
Interesting.
because what COVID does is cause an inflammation storm, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier. And that's why people lose their sense of taste and smell.
Yeah.
And it activates their limbic brain. But then as I got into the story, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
So basically, doctor, I'm messed up, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, that what you have gone through,
Yeah.
that you're awesome to, be at this place. Because a lot of people who've gone through what you've gone through would have fallen apart.
Yeah.
History of trauma, emotional trauma, stalker, twice.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
In
that's
fact,
right.
Can you tell me about the first time?
So the first one was back in college. He basically stalked me and harassed me and then basically kidnapped me. And I ended up being put in his closet in his house and literally held at gunpoint. It was just, it's weird because I think I blocked a lot of actually what happened out, but for 2 days I was missing and all of my roommates and everything got cops involved, all this stuff. And then they knew that I was dating this guy, so they ended up at his house. Long story short, they got me, obviously out of the house. And when I went and met with I think it was the district attorney, he said, you've literally met the devil in Waco. And I'm like, of course I did, because that's who I seem to attract into my life, is just crazy people. So thankfully I wasn't hurt or wasn't harmed, but the guy continued to harass me for many years after. I had no idea how he even got a hold of me. After I left college, I would receive phone calls, just like on my voice message that would say, I know where you are. You'll never be able to get away from me. I'll always be able to find you. So I was always, on high alert. I felt like always looking over my shoulders, always expecting somebody to show up or something to happen.
So that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Want to see your scan?
Yes.
Here's an example of a healthy scan. SPECT basically tells us three things: good activity, too little, or too much. And then our job is to balance it. If it's low in activity, we want to find ways to raise it. If it's high in activity, we want to find ways to calm it down. So if we look at your scan, you have a beautiful brain.
Oh, that's good news.
So here is your brain. You're not getting Alzheimer's disease. It doesn't look like you're a drug addict.
Nope.
So that's good. Overall, it's healthy. You have some bumps. So I wonder, and I read you'd had some
Car accidents.
accidents
Yeah.
and things. And I can make those better.
Wow.
When we look at this part of your brain, your cerebellum's good, your anxiety centers are up. And so I think there's just a baseline of you're looking around. What's there to be anxious about? And in the last couple of years, there's a whole bunch to be anxious about. It's reprogrammed your brain to look for what's wrong.
Right.
So one, you have a beautiful brain, but it's anxious.
Yeah.
So we want to go, how can we calm this down?
Right.
We make something called Calm My Brain with
Yeah.
ashwagandha and theanine and magnesium. I like that. I think that would be good for you.
Yeah.
And also we make something called Happy Saffron because I love
Yes,
saffron.
I saw that. I was reading all up on that. It was interesting.
There's 24 randomized controlled trials showing it's as effective as antidepressants,
Yeah.
but virtually without any side effects.
Love
it
that.
helps memory. It's been actually shown in trials with people who had cognitive problems to help their memory. And it's pro-sexual, as opposed to most of the antidepressants that decrease your libido and your ability to have an orgasm. This enhances it. And I'm like, oh,
Give
I
me
should
$5.
take it.
No, just kidding.
I'm like, I should take it. There's a wonderful app. Actually, we're going to release a brand new app next week called Happy Brain. And in it has, actually, I can show you. I have it on my phone.
Oh, fun.
It's so exciting. I've never showed anybody. Anyways, it looks like this. It's got a happy brain on it.
Love it.
And you can check in every day, and it has those 7 strategies. But there are tools, kill the ants, with this breathing exercise I love.
This is very cool.
There's different breathing programs. Like there's one for sleep.
Is that the one you were talking about, or is this separate?
This is separate. Oh, but this also has the hypnosis audios.
Oh, that's cool.
So what I'll send you a link. You can download this.
Very cool.
But this is when you're anxious, breathe in when the circle gets big and breathe out when it gets small.
Yeah.
I programmed it to decrease the anxiety in your brain.
Yeah.
And it's 4 seconds in, hold it for a second, 8 seconds out.
Yeah.
But here's the hypnosis
Oh,
ones.
very cool.
There's one for anxiety and sleep and peak performance and stress and
Very
pain.
cool. Weight loss. There we go. Weight loss. 10 pounds, doctor. 10 pounds.
Well, you know, when people love their brains, they tend to get to the weight they want.
Yeah.
Tell me about Real Housewives and how you got involved with that and
His
the
fault.
impact that had on your life.
Your brain. So it was actually my husband now, Slade, that recommended me for the show. I told them no. I wanted nothing to do with it. They kept calling. They kept bothering me. Slade kept calling me saying, you know, you'd be great for the show. And it wasn't until my fiance at the time, Jeff, who sadly had cancer, he's the one that really convinced me to do it. And he just said, you know what, honey, every day has been about doctor's appointments and the illness and, you know, just kind of just, you know, sadness all the time. And he's like, I think this would be a really fun opportunity for us to, you know, do something different. But it was a very, very toxic environment. It was very against the grain of who I am as a person, of my moral fiber. And I knew that. And I think that it's hard. It's similar to like if somebody's doing, I mean, I've never done drugs that way, but like it's similar to how people explain doing drugs. It's like you get a little taste of it and then you want more, and you want more, and you want more. So there were so many great things that came out of it. I got to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I got to travel. You know, there were so many amazing opportunities that came from it that I think you get a little blinded by how much toxicity and negativity it's actually causing in your life. And it wasn't until my fifth season. Yeah, my 5th season. It was right before the reunion show. And I remember I was sitting at the top of my stairs And I almost was like in the fetal position crying because I'd seen some episodes and they were just making up lies about me again, like they love to do, and, manipulate my reality. And I remember sitting there and I was telling Slade, because I was with Slade at the time, and I remember telling him, I'm gonna wake up and have cancer. Like, I can feel that this show is going to, like, it's causing me physical and mental and health problems. Like, I could feel it. And I just said to him, my God, I can't do this anymore. Like, I cannot do this anymore. I can't keep going at this level. And, my reputation and my integrity is really important to me, and it being challenged every single week. And you're only as good as they portray you in that week's episode. And so that was
You're only as good as they edit you.
Yes, exactly. So that was just really wearing on me. And I just like, that's not the legacy I want to leave, and the show is very much about tearing other people down. And that's just not who I like to be in my life. I like to lift people up and empower people. And, I was having 7-year-old girls coming up to me going, oh my gosh, I love you. And I'm like, why are you watching this show? Like, where are your parents, And then I would always have to explain to these little girls, like, that's not how you should treat people in life, right? Like, I felt like I was always having to like make excuses or like tell these people, like, don't do this. And
any lasting impact, positive or negative?
I'm a spiritual person. And so I really believe that the Lord brings everything into your life for a reason. And I think that there was so many people across the world. I mean, the show's been seen by 400 million people worldwide, and, in 144 different countries or whatever it is now. The fact that I would receive so many emails and so many people reaching out to me saying, you were such an inspiration. You helped me through some of the hardest times in my life, because, a lot of people saw me going through being Jeff's full-time caretaker and losing him to cancer. And, he was older than me. And there was a lot of people that were like, love is love. And people make judgments about you being with somebody that's older or whatever. And so it was interesting, because I think people saw me going through adversity, through losing Jeff on a national television show as a 30-year-old woman, transitioning to a new relationship with Slade, kind of coming back into my own, starting my businesses, getting back on my feet. So for me, that's the positive that came out of it, is even if I just received one of those emails and somebody said, thank you for being that inspiration to me, that was worth it to me.
Did you get therapy for that?
No, I didn't.
Because one of my recommendations, there's a specific kind of therapy I like a lot called EMDR, stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, for people who've been traumatized, and you have multiple times. That what it does is it begins to take the energy out of your emotional brain. So those things still happen and you still remember them, but they don't trigger you to be really anxious or really sad.
I love that.
This is really important.
Okay.
So when people come to see me, they have good days and bad days, but they're not great. That's why they're here.
Right.
And then we intervene and they get better. And I love that. I've been doing this for a long time. But nobody just gets better. They're better and then not so much, and then better and not so much, and then better and not so much. When you fall back, don't go, this damn stuff doesn't work.
Okay.
Pay attention to it. Where am I in my cycle?
Yeah.
What did I have to eat? What's going on in my relationships? And so we learn about Gretchen. So we become detectives, co-detectives, if you will, on what's triggering the trouble. And then balance it.
But I love that. I'm one of those students or clients that actually go home and do the work.
Well, then you'll get better fast.